environmental, social, and governance metrics, the social credit score system that is intended to turn corporations and businesses into leftist activists. And the enforcement mechanism is big banks who determine whether or not they will give loans or the terms of the loan to small businesses based on this grading system, this social credit score system. Are you woke enough? Are you leftist enough? Silicon Valley Bank bought into ESG in an enormous way. In fact, one position that's incredibly important at a bank like Silicon Valley Bank would be their head of risk management. Someone in a position of risk management would hopefully recognize what we were talking about at the very beginning, that if you don't hedge against the idea or against the possibility, the potential of interest rate hikes, then you're going to face a situation where maybe you've bought a bunch of treasuries that aren't paying you as much interest as the interest that you owe your depositors, and yet that's where you've put all your eggs in that basket. Somebody who's in charge of a risk mitigation or risk management department would be responsible for recognizing that that is not a good business strategy. It's a very bad business strategy. It's not only risky, it's asinine. It's almost criminal to run a banking institution in that way. The Silicon Valley Bank had no head of risk management for almost a year. Nobody. Not one person served in that role for 9 months until what you can see on the screen here is a headline from the Daily Mail. It says Silicon Valley Bank had no head of risk management for 9 months before it collapsed as the woke boss for risk management or risk assessment for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa was busy organizing a month-long pride campaign and a lesbian visibility day. Yes. So these are not just, this is obvious woke stuff, right? A month-long pride campaign as the money depositors were putting in Silicon Valley Bank was being used to purchase treasuries that don't have interest enough to pay the interest of the depositors themselves as they are hurtling towards this cliff. Thank God for Lesbian Visibility Day, right? That must make all of these depositors feel really good, really safe, really secure, like they can trust that their money is being taken care of. It's not just wokeness that was exhibited by individuals in this company. It's that Silicon Valley Bank itself had an ESG report. Let's show that on the screen. What did they call it? They called it diversity, equity, and inclusion. We believe, they say, that inclusion ignites innovation. Well, you know what also ignites innovation? Not losing your depositors' money. That ignites innovation. That's actually one of the ripple effects that I want to talk about. A lot of people are talking about ripple effects like, oh, is this going to cause a bank run? Is this going to impact my money? One of the ripple effects of this is going to be innovation. Silicon Valley Bank funded the startups in Silicon Valley that aren't just maybe what we stereotypically think of when we think of Silicon Valley. We think of Facebook and Twitter and other social media. Also, a lot of drug innovation starts in Silicon Valley. A lot of drug startups, pharmaceutical startups. And yeah, I know we talk about big pharma and how evil it is all the time, and it is. We talk about how the modern medical model isn't maybe effective. It's not as effective as it should be because it's focused so much on selling people drugs at whatever cost and then just suffering the consequences of class action lawsuits later. That's all true. At the same time, modern medicine and drug innovation has saved so many people's lives. It's saved, everybody who's listening, including me, has had family members whose lives were saved by drug innovation. And drug innovation is going to be one of the areas that's really damaged by this, that takes a big hit because Silicon Valley Bank funded a lot of the startups that engaged in drug research or innovation. So ironically, Silicon Valley Bank said diversity, equity, and inclusion. We believe inclusion ignites innovation. Well, now Silicon Valley Bank is the anti-innovation. They are actually shutting down innovation in our country.